Chrisean Rock just did what she does best on the internet, transforming her romantic life into a full-fledged soap opera with no commercial breaks. In one moment, she is blocking Bino as if he were receiving spam from an ex. The next, she's going back so far that she might be able to compete in the Olympics for moonwalking. I mean shouting when I say that the internet is screaming. The fans are going crazy. Timestamps are being examined by TikTok detectives. And this is becoming like the Super Bowl of toxicity on Twitter. Before supporters could even finish typing, Chrisean apparently pressed the block button with Olympic accuracy. At last, she unblocked him once more as if nothing had occurred. Drama, denial, classic Christian behavior, and a dash of delusion for spice. A dot. Now, the same question is being asked by everyone. What actually transpired this time between Chrisean and Bino? Was this just another instance of, let me test your loyalty, baby? Or did she actually block him? This story deserves its own reality show. The Block chronicles love, lies, and live streams. So if this is love, someone should call Netflix. This narrative makes Blueface's pandemonium seem like a Hallmark film, so get some popcorn. A mess is going to break out. Since this narrative didn't appear overnight, let's start at the top. Not at all. This is the most recent installment of the never-ending reality series called Chrisean Rock, Life and Times. The girl who was unable to block but blocked the world. It all began when her admirers spotted something odd on Instagram. After her breakup with Blueface, Bino, who has been devoted to the Christian side like Gorilla Glue, was inexplicably absent from her list of followers. Prior to the receipts beginning to arrive, many double-checked, refilled, and muttered, "No way!" Screenshots displaying the lethal gray follow button on Chrisean's page. Yes, it is blocked. Bino had been formally removed from the virtual world by the woman who had earlier referred to him as her real one. A social media unfollow may not have much of an impact on typical marriages. However, it's a blatant declaration of war in Chrisean Rock's universe. It's not just over when she blocks you, it's over. Accompanied by sobs, cryptic messages, and a 20-minute Instagram live tirade about vigor and devotion. The internet went haywire in a matter of minutes. Detectives from TikTok began analyzing each post in an attempt to determine the reason behind the block. Was it envy? Was it dishonest? Was it another overt argument that was captured on camera? Everyone had a theory, but no one knew. Here's where it gets crazy, though. One user joked, they break up every Tuesday, reconcile by Thursday, and go live by Sunday. Another user remarked, if Chrisean blocked Bino, the moon's probably in retrograde again. People discovered something even more bizarre not even 24 hours later. BSK was Bino. Chrisean also liked one of his posts, left a remark, and refollowed him. Give up fooling with me. The internet went crazy. How do you flirt with a man and block him, sis? One fan tweeted simultaneously, "Dot," and that's when the timeline exploded into pure chaos. Officially, the cycle of block and unblock had resumed, and everyone was glued to the screen as if it were a pay-per-view event. It was a sequel rather than merely a split. You have to go back in time to the Chrisean era to comprehend why fans responded in this manner. These two weren't messy at first. They began as a story of redemption. In fact, Chrisean was receiving a lot of support on social media following the Blueface breakup fiasco. She appeared to have finally left the pandemonium behind with Bino, as she was radiant, serene, and joyful. After the storm, he appeared to be the decent man, the one who was healing and kinder. However, as with all the happy times in Chrisean's life, the tranquility was short-lived. It was during one of her lives that the first crack appeared. As admirers bombarded the comments section with questions like, "Did Bino do something?" she dismissed them with the retort, "Nah, I'm just talking in general." A few weeks later, they were arguing live over who had removed whose photo first. It was passionate, dirty, and addictive. The block that we are currently discussing then came along, but it felt different this time. She appeared finished, according to fans. There was only a chilly, hard digital wall. No crying, no laughing, no hasty makeup post. She appeared to have finally pulled a boss move and moved on for a brief moment. But, oh no, we're talking about Chrisean Rock. Social media drama is treated like exercise by this woman. She is compelled to return for another round. You could almost hear the collective gasp on Twitter when she unblocked Bino. And to make matters worse, Bino didn't exactly make it easy to ignore him. One user commented, "Chrisean's love life has more plot twists than power." Another said, "She blocks him like she's trying to convince herself she's over it, then misses him before the block even loads." Everyone was saying, "Girl, didn't you just tell us you were single and healing?" He wrote an enigmatic caption when she was on her "I'm single again" energy. They never failed to return. Boom, breakdown on the internet. Fans believed he was referring to her right away. Someone said, "Oh, he's messy. You know, out here acting like the final boss of toxicity," another person retorted. However, the timing was what really caused this to blow up. Christine went live just hours before she banned him, looking tearful as she said, "I'm tired of being the only one who loves hard." Fans debated that statement for days. She was finally recognizing that Bino wasn't as strong as he appeared to be, according to others. Some thought it was just another miscommunication, because uncertainty is one of Beast's strongest suits. Then there were the supporters who were only there to see the mayhem. The same individuals who vowed to quit following her drama were now screen recording all of her updates, creating memes, and sharing side-by-sides of her blocking Bino and Blueface verses. Even celebrity blogs joined in on the trending tweet that said, "At this point, her block list is the real love triangle." Chrisean Rock reportedly blocks Hood Trophy Bino after heated dispute, was the headline that the Shade Room placed the news under. Meanwhile, Hollywood Unlocked added gasoline to the fire by citing sources that claimed Chrisean and Beau were done for good. However, she had already refollowed him by the time they pressed publish, demonstrating once more that no one can keep up with Chrisean's emotional GPS. Fans are yelling because she always brings herself back into chaos just when it seems like she's achieved calm, and we can't take our eyes off of her. It's similar to witnessing a slow-motion vehicle crash, except the driver keeps stepping out to put on cosmetics before the collision continues. Why is it even more difficult? Ina has been far too silent. He hasn't commented on anything, liked her post, or acknowledged the drama. Chrisean's support base is going crazy because that silence is louder than any argument. His silence is her weakness, according to one TikToker, who also stated, "You can tell she's losing it. She thrives on attention." There's no doubt that things will only get messier from here, regardless of whether this is a breakup, a prank, or just Tuesday for Chrisean. Because if you've watched her long enough, you'll know that when she blocks someone, the true turmoil doesn't begin. It begins when she chooses to discuss her motivation. Word on the street and dots. That live event is almost approaching. The internet listens, laughs, and goes crazy when she speaks. If you thought this was crazy, you'll be even more crazy after this. The following morning, social media appeared to be a digital battlefield. Because every fan page, gossip website, and nosy cousin was discussing the same topic, you would believe that Instagram was the scene of World War II, the story of Chrisean Rock's block. Rather than a Beyoncé tour announcement, hashtags like "Habar's banned by Chrisean," "Ale Bino return," and "Bar's toxic queenine" were trending more quickly. This drama was being devoured by the internet like a 5-course dinner. A messy, irresistible, and tasty dot. However, Chrissy went live once more, right when folks were beginning to recover their breath. After swearing she was done defending herself, the woman launched into a full-fledged TED Talk. As if it were therapy, talk. As if it were therapy, discuss loyalty, relationships, and the art of pressing block. She paced the room like a general before battle, saying, "I just don't have time for people playing in my face. I will block you if you treat me disrespectfully. Who you are doesn't matter to me." Others said that Bino appeared far too passionate for someone who wasn't bothered, while fans said, "Oh, so Bino sneezed wrong and got excommunicated." The best part, though, was when keen-eyed fans caught a glimpse of something in the corner of the screen as she was performing live. Bino's sweatshirt. He wore the identical one in his previous post. The internet boom began, a dot. The comments erupted like a display of pyrotechnics. One user commented, "Not him still in the house." Another claimed that rather than blocking him from the living room, she did it on Instagram. They weren't mistaken either. Fina appeared to be having snacks in the same flat with Chrisean as he was talking about loyalty and independence. The irony. Too ideal. TikTok didn't waste time. Edits with dramatic background music began to appear. Memes swarmed Twitter with captions that read, "When you block him, but he's still in your house." One of the memes saw Chrisean holding a phone that read, "Block," and Bino quietly showing up behind her with a snack. Instagram says single. Was the caption for another meme, but the living room disagreed. But once the live finished, Bino kind of broke his silence, which is where things really took a wild turn. But that one ambiguous post drove social media into a frenzy. He captioned his Instagram story with a dark screen and the words, "Y'all got to stop assuming." That's it. No names, no details, no context, just pure confusion. Everyone began analyzing each letter as if it were a Drake song. No, he's telling her not to assume. Y'all, so that means it's about the fans, not her. Hold on, it might be both. It was similar to seeing someone with way too much caffeine attempt to solve a crime scene online without any clues. Christine shared another picture of herself in front of a mirror with the remark, "Sometimes blocking is self-care." Girl, be serious. The comments were brutal, with one fan writing, "You said that before the last 6 unblocks." This happened when everyone was debating interpretations. Another joked, "You block like Netflix, but the show always returns with a new season." Even celebrity pages started jumping in. The Shade Room posted both of their stories side by side with the caption, "It's providing toxic deja vu." "Here we go again," Hollywood Unlocked said simply. And that's when things got really spicy because Blueface of all people decided to stir the pot. Yep, Mr. Chaos himself. Blueface dropped a single tweet that said, "Told y'all she can't sit still." Within minutes, Blueface was trending alongside Chrisean. The timing was too suspicious to ignore, and some fans accused him of trying to stay relevant, while others said he was just taking in the circus from a distance. Regardless, his name was back in the mix, and that's exactly how he likes it. Naturally, Chrisean didn't let that go unnoticed, and she returned to live for round 2, this time appearing as though she was prepared to battle the Wi-Fi itself. "Don't mention that man in my comments," she yelled, waving her hands. "He's irrelevant." Of course, that tirade only served to increase the amount of people who brought him up. In the meantime, Bino continued to act as if nothing had happened. Later that night, he went live with his friends, laughing, playing music, and acting totally unconcerned. Fans bombarded his chat with questions like, "Did she unblock you yet?" and blinked twice if you're still in her house. He ignored every single one, sipping his drink like the king of chaos. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The next morning, Chrisean posted a picture of her baby with the caption, "All that matters." It was delightful. But fans immediately noticed Bino liked the post. Wait, what? She blocked him, didn't she? The internet collectively screamed. So they're back again. You could practically hear social media break in half. That one reopened the entire drama. People started making timelines like it was a true crime documentary. One fan page posted a graphic titled "The Block Cycle," showing each time Chrissy blocked and unblocked Bino since July. It had more episodes than Love and Hip Hop. The funniest part, even brands got in on the joke. A social media manager for DoorDash tweeted, "Chrisean, if you block him again, we'll still deliver his meals." It got over 200,000 likes. The whole world was clowning, but at the same time, they couldn't stop watching because this wasn't just another messy couple. This was Chrisean and Bino, two magnets that repel and attract every 48 hours. And yet, there was something different this time. For the first time ever, fans weren't just laughing. They were genuinely concerned. People started saying, "This doesn't look like entertainment anymore." It appears that this is a cycle. TikTok therapists and relationship coaches jumped on the trend, breaking down Chrisean's behavior with words like emotional attachment, trauma bonding, and dependency. Suddenly, what started as a gossip storm turned into a psychological deep dive. But of course, that lasted all of 5 minutes because once again, Chrisean posted a cryptic story that said, "He loved me. He is simply unyielding." "You can't post about his love on the same day that you block for self-care," one user replied, causing the internet to combust once more. "Girl, what?" Another added, "Before she blocks everyone, someone should grab her phone." By this point, the fans weren't just screaming, they were exhausted. Everyone knew where this was heading. Christine would block Bono Cry, post a Bible verse, then go live from his car 2 days later. It's not just a pattern, it's her brand. Still, nobody could look away. Every move, every post, every emoji was content. And whether you love her or hate her, Chrisean Rock has mastered one thing better than any influencer alive: chaos marketing. She doesn't need a PR team. Her emotions are her PR team, . And if this all sounds insane, just wait. Because the next twist turned this petty block and unblock cycle into full-blown social media warfare. What Bino did next made fans go from laughing to screaming for real. By the next day, the internet was on edge like it was waiting for a cliffhanger episode to drop. Because when it comes to Chrisean Rock, peace doesn't last longer than a TikTok trend. And sure enough, the next twist hit like a grenade. Out of nowhere be a wet live. Not just any live, but one of those calm, confident lives that start with, "I ain't even going to say too much." which of course means he was about to say everything Doi started off low-key acting unbothered. Sipping from a red cup like he was hosting a podcast no one asked for. But then he looked straight into the camera and said, "Y'all keep talking like y'all know what's going on." Half the time, y'all don't even know what she got going on. Boom. Instant chaos. Comment sections flooded faster than a Kris Jenner PR strategy. Fans were typing essays. What you mean by that? Is he making her vulnerable? If you're still blocked, blink twice. He dropped the bomb after it was a Maydot. I'm not angry with her, but I took a step back when you started acting like it was the newest thing when it came to true love. The internet blew up. A cultural moment was born out of that single line. In just 1 hour, the sound was transformed into thousands of films on TikTok. It was being used for everything. Fake friendships, breakups, and even losing their AirPods are all possible. The phrase of the week was, "When you play with real love like it's a trend." Chrisean, meanwhile, viewed the clip and refused to accept it. When she wrote, "Don't speak on the if you ain't ready for the full truth," on her article 10 minutes later, fans went crazy once more. Ino believed he had extinguished the fire, but the girl had merely reloaded it. Digital popcorn theaters were created using the comment sections. Everyone was curious about the truth she was referring about. Rumors began to spread more quickly than paparazzi flashbulbs. Bino had been deeming his ex, according to others. According to others, Chrisean had rummaged through his phone. Some conspiracy enthusiasts even thought it was just a publicity gimmick. To get her name out there before a music release, she is doing yet another round of poisonous marketing. Because, let's be honest, whenever something new comes out on Spotify or YouTube, Chrisean's chaos always follows. And Chrisean released a mysterious tweet that sent shockwaves around the internet, just when everyone believed they had figured out the secret. "He was too devoted to me to abandon FR. The audience erupted." One tweet with screenshots, think pieces, and reaction videos. The main twist, however, Bino shared a photo of himself in a studio a few hours later, sporting the same hoodie that fans had seen during Chrisean's live performance earlier that week. Is it a coincidence? Please. Coincidences are not believed by the internet. The only people who started to speculate that they were secretly getting back together were content aficionados. Some claimed to have seen her image in the studio mirror. Others saw that shortly after he posted, she removed her self-care blocking story. It felt more like a marketing campaign run by Zeus Network than a genuine connection. The fan outrage followed. People's opinions were divided. She's toxic, according to half, but that's how she feels. The other half said, this is unhealthy. She needs to log off and heal. TikTok therapists and relationship gurus were doing hour-long breakdowns with captions like Chrisean Rock and the psychology of repeated chaos. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared the internet for what came next. Because instead of staying quiet, Chrisean doubled down. She went live again, but this time with music blasting, her energy on 10, and Baby Jr. crawling in the background. "I'm good. I'm happy. I'm unbothered," she shouted. "Y'all be more pressed about my life than me." The comments went wild. "Girl, blinked twice if you're lying." "We saw the hoodie." "I'm bothered, but went live 3 times about it." But here's the thing. She was glowing. Fans couldn't tell if she was trolling, thriving, or spiraling. Maybe all 3. And then midlife. Guess who commented with a laughing emoji? Bino. The entire internet imploded. It was the digital equivalent of fireworks, confetti, and a power outage all at once. "He's watching her live after she blocked him," one fan wrote. Within an hour, fan edits began to appear with the tagline, "Blocked, but still in love." Their films received millions of views. Another person said, "At this point, the block button has Stockholm Syndrome." The tension, the irony, the madness, it was everything social media lives for. In all honesty, no one does viral drama like Chrisean Rock, and people have turned their dysfunction into entertainment. Amidst the confusion, a silent reality began to seep in. This was no longer merely amusing. It was depressing. You could sense the spectators' emotions changing from amusement to concern. "She needs peace," one commenter wrote. Her inability to let people go is evident. Others, however, continue to build it up like a soap drama. That's the grim truth of contemporary celebrity. Everyone's content is your anguish. And there is the terrible and intriguing aspect of this story, because the world keeps drawing Chrisean back into the spotlight whenever she tries to move on. Every chuckle turns into a story. Each block turns into a headline. Every feeling turns into a meme. She is the scapegoat as well as a celebrity. She's somehow flourishing in the chaos. She's enjoying the chaos. Bino's career, meanwhile, took off. his streams surged. His name became popular on Spotify. Everyone who had never heard of him before the incident was suddenly checking out his music. By the end of the week, the two were apparently back on track. Fans quipped, "Being blocked by Chrisean is the best PR move of 2025. Even radio hosts got in on it, calling him Mr. Blockback." Translation: in the same sentence, they are most likely texting, bickering, and blocking one another. When fans noticed that they were liking each other's posts once more, bloggers went crazy. Watching the same roller coaster you vowed never to ride again is like that. However, as Chrisean and Bino are ultimately the algorithm, you are powerless to resist. They have transformed sadness into news stories, chaos into a career, and blocking into brand strategy. To understand what's happening, you don't even need to follow them. It comes to you via the internet as a push alert. Perhaps that is the true story here, that there is no privacy in a society where oversharing is the norm. Every meltdown has a monetary value. Every block is a commercial decision, and every split is publicized. However, you are deluding yourself if you believe that this story is over. Because Bino is going to discover that you can't outlive Chrisean Rock, just like Blueface did before him. The internet and her are the only trends you can follow. Oh, they will continue to scream because that is just what she desires. Keep an eye out. As soon as she pushes go live, the next episode is released. There you have it. The story of digital love. Everyone watched as it happened, like a free front row ticket to pandemonium, even though no one asked for it. Chrisean Rock once again transformed a love crisis into a global group chat event, blocking, unblocking, and reblocking more quickly than Wi-Fi reconnects. She is lecturing about self-care and tranquility one moment. Then, as if nothing had happened, she is enjoying Bino's pictures. It's not a romantic tale. It's an emotional Netflix documentary series. It's your time now. What do you believe actually happened, Buzz Crash family? Is Chrisean genuinely caught in the never-ending cycle of love and delusion, or was this just another publicity stunt? Leave your most outrageous theories in the space provided below. Especially the spicy ones, we read them all. Additionally, hit the like button as if you were blocking your ex for the 8th time while you're down there. Click subscribe as if you were curiously refollowing them. And ring that notification bell like it's Chrisean's phone every time you post something shady, because at Buzz Crash we don't chase the gossip. Instead, we explode it. From rap feuds to relationship breakdowns, leaked lives, and love gone viral, we bring the drama right to your screen. It's hotter than a Blueface diss track. Stay messy, stay tuned, and keep in mind that in this world, hitting the block button doesn't mean the end of a scandal. It's just the beginning of the next one.